In this video, I'm going to walk through the process to analyze Tableau dashboards using the Analyzer agent, which is part of EZConvertBI on the AWS Transform platform, which is available from the AWS Command Console for AWS customers. The EZConvertBI tool will be available on AWS Transform, enabling clients to analyze and migrate Power BI and Tableau dashboards and then convert them to Quick Sight. What you see here is the homepage for an engineer when they're using AWS Transform. AWS Transform leverages the concept of workspaces, and engineers and developers can collaborate within a workspace. So I'm going to use an existing workspace for the purposes of this demo. I'm going to click on the workspace called Beta. Now, the first thing I need to do is I need to create a job. So I click on the Create Job button, and it's going to ask me a few questions. And as you can see from the right side, this is a chat style interface, and it's leveraging an agentic workflow. So the Transform platform can be used for more than BI migration. Many AWS clients already use it for things like mainframe modernization, .NET code modernization, Windows modernization. And like I said, as of April 1st, they'll also be able to do BI migration using the Wavicle product EZConvertBI. So I'm going to click on BI migration, and then more specifically, I am going to specify Marketplace Wavicle Tableau Analyzer agent. Now it brings up a new window, and I need to specifically tell it what I want to do in this new window so that it knows how to create the appropriate plan. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type in, help me analyze dashboards from Tableau. And I hit enter, and you'll now see here that this job plan is going to be created. In a matter of seconds, it's going to think through all the steps required to analyze Tableau dashboards, everything from figuring out which Tableau server to connect to, all the way to the last step, which includes creating an Excel output, which is the results that are used to plan a migration. You now see that this entire job plan is created, starting with getting the credentials for Tableau all the way through to generating a summary report. So the very first thing, like I said earlier, is we have to know what Tableau server to connect to. And we have two choices for how we respond. So we can use the chat style interface, and it's already told us that it's able to connect to multiple Tableau servers. So I need to, first tell it what Tableau server I want to connect to. Well, you see here, there's a number of Tableau servers I can connect to. You only need to set up the connection for each Tableau server once. So to demonstrate being able to use the chat style interface as well as the drop-downs on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and actually type in the particular Tableau connector I want to use on the line here. Now, at this point, it's going to test those credentials and make sure that it can connect to the Tableau server specified. After that, it's going to need some more details about the Tableau server. Specifically, within that Tableau server, it's going to need to know which site. Tableau servers are organized in such a way that a server has one or more sites on it. And we can see here now that it's been able to successfully connect to that Tableau server. And it's identified that there's 3 Tableau sites I can connect to. I do know that I want to connect to the BI Converter site for the purposes of this demo. I could type it in here, or I'm going to go ahead here and just type BI Converter, or select BI Converter there, and click Submit. Now, within a Tableau site, there's an additional level of detail you have to provide. There's the concept of projects and workbooks. So we could select all the projects and all the workbooks in those projects, or for the purposes of this demo, to save time, we're going to choose a subset. And the very first thing we need to do is we're going to need to select which project we want to analyze. And we now see on the right side, we can pick from any of these projects. We could also now type it in if we wanted to as well, right? So I know, for example, that I want to use LA Megs for the purpose of this demo. So I click on Submit. Now it's going to analyze the LA Megs project, and it's going to tell me what are the workbooks in there. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to analyze all the workbooks that are in that project. And now it's thinking through the next step, which is which workbooks, and it's going to come back and ask me another question about this. which is which workbooks. And I'm just going to select them all here. Once again, I could have typed it in here, but I'm not. I'm just going to simplify it and click submit. Now I'm done providing all the details that I need to provide about the Tableau server that we're analyzing. At this point, the analyzer is going to take all that information. It's going to run the analysis on all the workbooks, and then it's going to generate the summary report. And we can see here with the green check marks that it's now completed those steps successfully. And in a second here, we're going to see that running Tableau analysis on all workbooks is in progress. So it's now analyzing these. It's going to take a minute or two. And then once it's done, we'll get a message back. One thing you will see is between the job plan on the left side, the chat interface in the middle, and then the drop downs on the right. Sometimes there's a little bit of lag between them all catching up, but it's generally not too bad. Now, the analysis is in process, and it'll complete shortly, at which point it's going to provide a summary in the middle window. And then after it provides that summary in the middle window, you're going to probably see the job plan move on to the very last step, which is generating the summary plan. The analysis is complete. We're now generating the summary report, which is then to provide an Excel spreadsheet, which we can download and look at. And in a minute here, you're going to see some more details on the analysis. 7 workbooks, like I said, 10 dashboards, the breakout of complexity, some details on the connections. We had some from text files, some from Snowflake. And now we're on to the last step, and we're waiting for the Excel to be created. And in just a second, we'll see that Excel pop up. And now we can view the artifact. I'm going to click on the artifact, save it, and it's downloaded. And I'm going to now real quickly show some details about this Excel spreadsheet. So this is the Excel spreadsheet that we just created that was downloaded. I'm on the Summary tab. Real quickly on the Summary tab, some of the same details that we saw in the chat interface, but we had a total of 7 workbooks, 10 dashboards, and here's the breakout of complexity. The other thing I want to highlight are the Chart Types tab. This has 1 row for every chart on every dashboard. This could be a pretty long report. But what's important about it is it looks at the chart type being used for every Tableau dashboard, or every chart type on every Tableau dashboard. And it identifies which chart type we're going to convert it to in Quick Sight. In situations where there is not a logical one that it migrates to, we'll make recommendations. The other thing I want to highlight is the Dashboards tab. The Dashboards tab is important because it shows the complexity of every dashboard. We have a programmatic way to calculate the complexity, and it's based upon all the details of each dashboard that are included on all these other tabs. And obviously, the higher the score, the more complicated it is. The reason this is important to know is because the higher the complexity, the more effort might be required after conversion for things like look and feel, as well as testing. And then the last tab that I want to highlight is the rationalization summary. This is an important tab because this allows you to identify which dashboards are duplicates of others. So for example, on row 11, we see that there's this dashboard called Modified Main Page. If we scroll all the way to the right, we see that there's another dashboard that's 100% duplicate of it. And it's a dashboard with this ID with the name main. Generally, when dashboards are over 80%, we think that they should be looked at closely prior to migration. Obviously, with a score of 100, that means these are exact duplicates. What that means is we're looking at all the details of these dashboards. And the scope of the analysis when we look for duplicates is all the dashboards that we analyzed. So in this scenario, these are exact duplicate dashboards. What we generally find in many client organizations is that anywhere from 15 to 25% of all dashboards are duplicates. And obviously, if you're thinking about migrating, why would you want to migrate duplicates? So we can use the analyzer to significantly reduce the time and cost of a migration. This concludes the demo of the Tableau Analyzer agent that's part of EZConvertBI on AWS Transform. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out.